We'll begin our first discussion on the directive given by the governor of Zamfara State, Matawale, for citizens to obtain guns and defend themselves, and then subsequent reactions by the Chief of Defense Staff. We also have in the studio a security expert, Stephen Okore, to talk to us about this recent development. Thank you so much for joining us on Daybreak.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. So, despite all the reactions that have trailed this directive by the governor of Zamfara State, he seemed to be, insistent. He seemed to be convinced that this is the way to go. He has gone ahead to inaugurate 4 committees to dispatch 20 vehicles and 1,500 motorbikes to the committee to work with. So, what's your take on this? Is this the way to go? Looking at the fact that all other options have been exhausted, sort of.
Yeah, from your introduction, you said all options have been exhausted by the governor. This is a man that inherited all this when he came to power. What do you expect from a man that is frustrated? I'll use the word frustrated because he has tried to use different means. We have seen that the kinetic approach was not working for him. He tried to see how to approach it through the non-kinetic means by granting amnesty, negotiations, dialogue, reconciliation, and all that. He has used virtually every means that he knows best, that he can see that can help quell the situations in Zamfara State. But from all indications, it is still on the rise. It's still increasing. His citizens that he's governing are being killed on daily basis and all that. So, for me, I think it's one of the ways to go, but application and implementation, they should critically look into it. The laws governing firearms, and licenses in Nigeria is approved by either the president or the IGP of the Inspector General of Police. So if such licenses can be given, there's nothing wrong with it.
In any case, what kind of arms are we even talking about? Because from what I know, the laws allows for just the use of shotguns. So what kind of arms are we looking at here for the citizens or the indigents of Zamfara State are going to be using to defend themselves, really? Will shotgun be able to serve that purpose? And if not shotgun, then what else does the law allows for?
I think they critically need to look at what the law stipulates clearly, and going by that, they can as well go out to see how to apply what the law states clearly in it, for the citizens or group of people to see how to have these arms and ammunition, We saw where the Chief of Defense Staff was saying on TV where he talked about the governor does not have the powers to issue such instructions or something. But this is a man that, as a father of the state, he keeps seeing his children dying. Let me just say that. He keeps seeing his children dying on daily basis. Of course, you should expect that he should derive every means possible to see how to protect them, because it's his duty to see how to protect lives and properties of his citizens.
All right, beyond the laws, let's imagine that there's a law that says, okay, fine, people can go ahead and buy these arms and own them. Wouldn't it be chaotic? I mean, imagine every Nigerian been in possession of an arm.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a problem? Because a lot of people who have condemned the call have based their condemnation on the fact that it's a call to anarchy, as it were.
Yes. They are entitled to their opinion to say that, But we have seen situations where, in America, for instance, there's a law that permits that if you are either 18 years or 21 years of age, you can own a gun.
A law that certain people have come out to query and question all the time.
Yes. They have come out to query all the time, you know, because of the bad guys that own these guns. But it doesn't mean that we don't have good guys that own the guns. Even the fact that they have queried it all the time, if you begin to look at the crime rate in America, that such law exists, even the crime rate in America is far, far, far lower than what we are experiencing in Nigeria. The crime rate in Nigeria is about 16%. Well, Nigeria is at the level of 16th position. America, that will talk about this kind of laws, do you know that crime rate, they are on the 56th position. So the crime rate in Nigeria is even far, far higher than that of America, where they have laws where 18 years or 21 years can own a gun.
The worry is for whether or not our systems,
yes,
the structure we have, can be able to manage this arrangement.
Yes.
Because, you know, a lot of people have pointed to the flaws in the system, how weak it is. So who holds who to account? If, you know, peradventure you have people in possession of these firearms and, you know, they're abusing it, you know, how do we checkmate it?
I talked about application and implementation. You see, once we put a policy in place, our duty is to see that we follow the policy to the letter. How do you go about it? The implementation, the application. But in Nigeria here, we keep jumping guns. We cut corners to see how to apply certain things that should be for our benefit.
But in making the pronouncement, the
Yes,
governor,
yes.
would it have been better if he had categorized it, for instance, to say every head of family can own a gun, instead of just leaving it open? Would it have been better?
If I was to be the governor, I would put it in such a way that a group of recognized Nigerians, not just individuals, a group of recognized Nigerians. For instance, if you bring on board the vigilante group, you know, every community has vigilante groups. I make bold to say that every community have vigilante groups. So you can harness these groups together, you know, categorize them, give them a name. Well, by the time you by the time you provide these ammunitions and guns, you mark them so that for record purpose, you know that this XYZ group, they have this kind of guns and they are marked. Another group in the different communities that we have in Zamfara State, once you mark these guns and ammunitions, at least you can trace in the event where they misuse it, you know. So I think that implementation is the way to go. And once we put proper check and we implement the ideal thing that he wants to do, you know, we will get results. These people, self-defense, don't forget that it's a natural instinct, you know, and it has been part of us. It has been part of human survival strategy. You know, you cannot take self-defense away from human beings. You know, by the time you properly put in place the way he is going, number of motorbikes, number of cars and all that, and these vehicles and motorbikes are marked, you know, and people that are heading the structures at that community level, you can be able to get results.
Do you really think that this arrangement will be efficient enough to deal with this? Now, he talks about 500 forms
yes.
per Emirate Council, 19 Emirate Council. Yes. We are talking about 9,500 guns, yes, so to say, for the entire state. Would that be enough to deal with the kind of problem that we're dealing with? And can they really confront these bandits? If you look at the fact that, you know, you need training as well and other kinds of, understanding to be able to deal with this.
What is it that they have on ground now? They don't absolutely have anything on the ground. So for me, the best way to go about it is to start something. By the time you start something and you are seeing results, as time goes on, you begin to see where and manner to improve on it. We're talking about lives and property here. Every day people die. So by the time you start, you must start something. And as you start something, you begin to see the gap. And going forward, you begin to see how to close the gap.
But we have had allegations where we hear that some vigilante members, yes, in some communities connive with, yes, these bandits. Yes. How are we sure that these arms, yes, will not end up in the hands of the bandits?
I put it to you that there are stakeholders, various stakeholders in all these communities that we are talking about here. Especially, okay, our focus is on Zamfara. Every community in Zamfara, there's a district head or an emir or something. That's the traditional lura, right? There's either a mosque or a church in one of the communities or the other. So the emir or the district head or the village head, the imam or the pastor or whoever, and other age grade group of boys or youths, that form different associations within these communities. They can put themselves together as stakeholders in these communities.
That means for this to work, there must be the will, not just on the part of the government, but on the part of the people.
Exactly.
The commitment of the people. Are you sure we have that commitment of the people to actually tackle this?
When they see their people dying, why won't commitment be there? They see their people dying. These bandits come day, night, and kill their people. Of course there will be commitment. So by the time they say, okay, let them harmonize, put themselves together, and see how to work with the security agencies and the government as well, they will bring out people that are trustworthy, that if they know that you have a questionable character, you won't be part of the team or the group of vigilantes that are putting together.
Are you concerned that there could be some high level of extrajudicial killings as a result of this? We've heard stories about the vigilante group, I think in Zamfara or Katsina, Nsake or something like that, how, sometimes they go overboard, they go and they perpetrate certain things against innocent citizens, simply for mere, misunderstanding, or maybe for hate, or just, dislike for persons, and then they just go after them, and all of that.
That's why I talk about the recruitment process. During the recruitment process, there must be proper background check on anybody that they want to recruit or bring on board to serve as a member of a vigilante group. We talked about training here. There should be physical and mental tests. It takes a whole lot to do it. You not just go pick somebody from the street and begin to say, or come and give him gun to begin to operate as a member of the vigilante group. There are processes that they must follow.
Okay, so shouldn't those processes have been started before this pronouncement?
I don't know how far the governor or the government of Zamfara have gone in terms of the processes, but from what you have presented here, we saw that even vehicles and motorbikes have been bought.
Yes, so the governor inaugurated 4 committees. Special committee on intelligence gathering on banditry, management committee on operations of the community, protection guards committee on prosecution of banditry related offenses, and then state security standing committee. So these are some of the committees that were set up. Whether or not they will be able to efficiently and effectively carry out this mandate is one thing. Don't you think that there's some kind of need for collaboration with the federal government in this regard?
Yes, there is need for collaboration because going forward, he needs to deal with the regular or the formal security agencies and think that he achieves what he wants to achieve. So there is need for collaboration with the federal government.
But from what it looks like right now, he doesn't have that cooperation. Because if you listen to the remark by the Chief of Defense Staff, he disapproved of this arrangement. Even the Commissioner of Police in the state says that he has not been given any directive. So apparently he's waiting for an instruction from the Inspector General of Police to do anything. So that collaboration, are you likely to see it happen?
It must happen. But from what the committees that you have read out, there's nothing wrong with the committees, because everything has to do with trying to see that the Zamfara state is safe and secure, going down to the grassroots, because crimes are local, So for him to actually get a result, those committees are in order, and I want to advise that they should set aside sentiments and politics, in trying to see how to achieve that, because it has to do with security, So he has to appoint or bring on board professionals, security professionals, both private and retired officers and personnel that have retired from service, to see that that thing works.
And in getting this to work, the police in the state has to work with the vigilante members.
Obviously, certainly.
Do you truly believe that these two groups will work together. Because the police will feel that, oh, we are the trained ones, we're the professionals here. You are a vigilante member.
There must be a synergy. I put it to you that if you go to check now, the commissioner of police in Zamfara is not from the state. So for him to work and get results, he must definitely work with the local vigilante. Because you know there are certain features that come with vigilante members or group. Of course, you know that they are more familiar with their environment and the terrain and all that. So if you bring a police officer to come and work with, the man should be after result. Because people that are dying, it's not funny. So the commissioner of police should be after result. So, and the best way to go is the synergy, to work in synergy with the government and the vigilante group.
Well, you know, there's been allegations that there are certain people who do not want all of this crisis to end because they are benefiting.
Yes.
Now, we really do not know those who are benefiting.
You can't know that.
Yes, so...
But we have seen that a lot of them have become millionaires from the fight against insecurity.
Exactly, so those people benefiting, don't you see them as a cog in the wheel, frustrating the entire process?
Yes, but it won't deter the government or the security agencies from going ahead to do what they need to do. The fact that they are amongst them, you know, but it won't deter them from doing the constitutional responsibility they are supposed to perform.
You know, another argument is whether or not Zamfara State alone can be able to, you know, do this without the other regional cooperation. So, for instance, you have neighboring states who are probably not doing the same, who are not thinking in the same direction. Will it be possible for them, you know, alone as a state to be able to do that when you have these bandits in other neighboring states and all of that? How possible is it?
I think that's where the special advisor to the governors and security. I want to believe that all governors have special advisors on security. So the governors, the special advisors from the states surrounding Zamfara, I expect that this time they should all be working together to see that that region or geopolitical zone is properly secured and safe for their citizens, you know. So at this point, I expect that they should be putting up policies and frameworks to see that what the suggestion coming from the government of Zamfara, you know, if they apply it. And I want to believe that what the Zamfara governor is trying to do, if you apply it in other states, it will work. It will work.
Shouldn't there be a test case first?
Test case?
Yes, let them start and then maybe see how it goes.
As you are doing it, as the test case is going on in Zamfara, don't forget that the bandits are relocating if it's affecting them. You understand? They are relocating to other states. So I think there's nothing wrong with starting something. The region started holistically, you know, as they put on, as they fire the bandits or terrorists and all that, they begin to look out for other, possibly go out of the country, you know, to other countries, you know.
Well, you know, Stephen, a lot of people are skeptical about this. We've heard stories about other countries that have gone this path, and it doesn't look like they ended well. I mean, Libya is a classical example of what we are talking about, where everyone has access to firearm. At the end of the day, you find several groups, you know, within the same territory, fighting each other for power. So the thing is that the problem may not even be with, you know, fighting the bandits themselves, but it is about when the fighting with the bandits is over, what then happens? Because, you know, if you are able to defeat the bandits,
yes,
and you still have citizens or indigents having guns, what then happens?
Don't forget I mentioned about documentation as well. Every community, as you provide the names of people that are members of vigilante, we're talking about proper thing. It's not just a haphazard arrangement.
Yes, but disarmament is something that, you know, will take someone who is involved to be willing to do. If the people carrying the arms are not willing to be disarmed at the end of the day, what happens? I mean, yes, they are documented.
Yes.
The authorities probably know where they are and all of that. But if they decide to abscond and, you know, decide to pose a threat,
they can be traced.
And also, we have the elections coming on. What if?
Are you saying that we don't have good Nigerians that can do this job? We have good Nigerians that can serve this, this to do what we are talking about.
So why
here.
don't you just absorb them in the security services instead of going this way? I mean, let them just join the police, join the military, you know, other platforms that they can render such services instead of, you know, just opening up for citizens to carry arms.
Just the way, yeah, it's also a way to go about it. Calling, you know, states have talked about state police, you know. So when you talk about state police, the state police, when they are recruited from their local community and all that, they can as well remain in their communities, empowered with guns and other ammunition, and serve the purpose of a vigilante as well, because they've been recruited from their immediate community. So they are going to serve in their own community. So it's as well as.
But you know, one concern that people have always had against state police is about a politician or hijacking the process. Now, whoever is in charge at the time, these vigilante people are armed with the arms. He's in charge, right, at that point. So they'll listen to him.
Yes.
He can use them.
Yes.
Now they have these arms.
Yes.
What will stop him from using them against his opponents?
We have seen politicians even using federal police. It happened in Imo and all that and some other states. So that fear must always be there. But it shouldn't stop us, you know, from providing or preferring solutions to the challenges we are facing at the moment. You know, so basically, we need arms and ammunition to be able to tackle the challenges we are talking about. Because you see innocent people sleeping in their houses or in their communities and all that. These people just come with guns and begin to kill them.
But there's also the issue of the kind of arms those people come with.
Yes.
So even by the time you approve this, like he asked earlier, what kind of arms are you going to give to these people? Is it going to be the type that will match the one the bandits are going to come with?
Let us start with something. At least there's provision in the law that provides for the kind of arm that they can carry. Let us start with something. It's not by holding bows and arrows that we know that it won't go anywhere. So it's better we start with something. As time goes on, we can see how to improve on it. You know, we're talking about solutions here, you know. So you agree with me that the law enforcement are overwhelmed. They are basically overwhelmed. It's obvious. You cannot say that they are handling the issues and people are dying every day, you know. So it's just like a father leaving his house and the children are hungry. You go and come back and you say there's no money and they still remain hungry, you know. So where's the hope, you know? So if you are handling the issues, let us see that you are handling it. People are not dying. People are not being killed.
Do you see this action or step by the Zamfara state government? Do you see it? Do you think that the federal government will see it as a wake-up call? Because what the Zamfara state government is saying that I'm not getting help from anywhere, and that's why I'm going this way.
Yes.
Do you think that that will cause the federal government to do more?
It's a challenge. For me, it's a challenge. Number one, you know that the conventional security agencies are owned by the government, the federal government. So it's a challenge on the government, on the part of the federal government, to see how to improve on whatever they are doing. Increase the number of personnel or manpower, improve on the technology, improve on the ammunition and weapons and all that. You have to improve on all this. So there are a lot of things that the federal government needs to do. But since the man in the helm of affairs in Zamfara is not saying that, and his people are being killed, he's trying to derive what that means. I want to encourage other governors to see how to go that way. Mind you that my position about individuals having guns or owning guns is not, I'm not in support of it, but it can be classified. You know, according to groups, you know that this category of group have this, and it's on record that they have, and the guns are marked, and it's applicable to other groups. You know, so that it's a structure, and there must be a leader that must report to the police, and it must work in synergy with the police, because we're talking about internal crime here.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Stephen Okori, for joining us on Daybreak and sharing your perspectives with us on this. We look forward to having you again.
Thank you.